Check.
Good morning.
Check.
Oops, I'm not on. Hello, check. Check, check, check. Hello, hello, test. There we go.
Check.
Good
All right.
morning. Okay. All right, we can give a minute to catch up. Oh, I just shook everything. Sorry, peeps. Okay. All right, ready to go?
All right. That was our minute. Okay.
Yeah, it was.
Hello and welcome to Anatomy of Marriage Radio. I'm your host, Melanie Studley.
What's up, my friends? My name is Seth Studley. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. Thank you for joining us this morning. It's Wednesday morning, and every day on AOM Radio, we do 4 things, right?
Yes, we do a prayer, an intention of gratitude, and then we talk about our Anatomy of Marriage app question of the day and our conversation starters. But before we do that, we want to tell you that today's show is brought to you by the Anatomy of Marriage app. It's a couples counseling app that's fast, fun, and never boring because we created it. It's the app that we wish we had had. So go check it out at anatomyofmarriage.com. And as always, we are live on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube every single day. So good morning to our people, Adina, Mandy, all y'all saying good morning. Good
That's right.
Morning.
Daniqua,
we see you. We see you.
You say every single day. Sometimes we miss a day, right? But we missed a day yesterday, but we released an episode.
Right.
You guys go check out. We had an interview episode yesterday with Larry Hagner from the Good Dad Project.
Dad Edge Project. Same diff, but it's the Dad Edge.
No, it's actually not. It's the Good Dad Project, and his podcast is Dad Edge. So there you go. I'm mad at you now. Okay. Anyway, you want to pray this morning?
Sure, but before we do that, go check that episode out because it's all about fatherhood, transforming fatherhood. And even if you didn't have the best of dads, you can still be a great father. So go check that out.
That's right. TJ, go check that out. I don't know if you know about him, but he is cool and he's awesome.
Yeah.
So, all right, go for it.
Oh, okay. Dear God, thank you so much for all of our blessings. I pray that you release the energy of negativity in the room right now. Help us to have a good morning. Help the kiddos to be good today and help us to be present. Help us to be aware, stay calm, and carry on. Amen.
Amen. All right. Good prayer.
That's right.
Good prayer.
Intention. So we encourage you to do these today with your partner. So pray with your partner. Do your intention with your partner. And your intention is basically the behavior you want to do in your marriage based on what wasn't working. Ooh, someone says my husband is having surgery. Let us pray for that. Pray really fast.
All right. God, thank you for your blessings. Thank you for healing. And thank you for all that you've done. I pray that you be with our friend who is having surgery right now. I pray that you be with the doctors. May your hands be upon all that stuff. Amen.
Amen.
Sorry, I hit you in the head. Speaking of hitting like myself or yourself in the head, yesterday I was listening to a Voxer message and it was put up to my ear and I was in a hurry and I hit the wall. My phone hit the wall and the phone slammed my wall. Slammed my thing right there on that little knob of your ear. And I was like, it's like I got punched in the ear.
Weird.
I know, it felt so weird. But anyway, thank you, Ms. Frisco. So
our intention is the behavior that we want to have in our relationship today. So what do you have an intention off the top of your head?
Yeah, I do. To be pro in everything. Reading the book Turning Pro by Stephen Pressfield again. And when I'm pro, when I have laser focus on stuff, everything is better. Our relationship with you, our emotional intimacy, my relationship with the kids, everything. So it is a daily thing to push back against that resistance and be like, okay, front and center, front and center, front and center. Here it is. Because if anybody watching is like me, if you let off the gas, you just go, easy. And then stuff comes up, So my intention is to not let off the gas today.
Okay. Good intention.
Yeah.
Good intention. Can't think of what my intention is. My intention is to be present, which I say a lot, but it's still the same thing.
Well, what does it mean? Listen, I'm going to lean into that a little bit. Like, okay, what does that look like? 30 seconds of what that looks like being present.
I'll tell you, it's really confusing because you do the 75 hard stuff. So it's hard because you're reading at night. And then our children apparently never want to sleep again. So it's very hard to be intentional because
They've given up sleep.
They get up every night and they just want to talk. It's like, I talk to you all day. I adore you, my little humans that I created. But seriously, zip, double it.
Right.
It's so annoying.
So you're saying it's hard, right? So I want to hear what you're going to do.
I guess my challenge to myself in my intention is to figure out how to get them to be calm and then be present with you, sit with you, hold your hand, talk to you, whatever that looks like. Because I feel like I'm trying to get to you and I have gremlins stopping me at all. Like, you ever seen Troll Hunters? The kids watch Troll Hunters, I think is the show's name. and there's like these little gremlin things that get all around them and get in the way. That's what it feels like. Like I feel like I'm an adult-sized person and I've got these little things just like constantly whatever. And that makes it very hard to be intentional with you.
It does.
Like going 500 directions. But
so, okay, I just want to, hashtag real talk, right? So last night you stayed up later than usual with the kids, then you guys were just out here talking and I was in bed reading and stuff like that. And I was actually really sleepy. Then the kids were in bed and you came in and you just wanted to talk. Like you just laid on the bed. You didn't get under the covers or anything. I don't even think you had your J's on and you just wanted to talk like, hey, how's it going? And I was already laying down and stuff. And I thought it was cute for one, but it was one of those rare times when I was like, hey, I am going to bed, right? And you were like, oh, this is so stupid. You just wanted to talk, right? I mean, you weren't mad, right?
Yeah.
Right?
I didn't say that. So
well, you were just like, oh, I just want to talk to you. And I was like, I'm sorry, I have to go to bed. And I'm thinking of what would you tell, so that was hard. That was some resistance last night. So what would you tell coaching clients if they're saying, oh, yeah, things are hard and I have all these kids around? Like sometimes we can reach our personal goals by putting the problem out and saying like, what would I tell my best friend if they said exactly the same thing? What would I tell a coaching client if she was saying the exact same thing?
Right.
What would you tell her?
I mean, basically what I'm trying to do, like get the house lined up, get standard operating procedures in place. Like there's so many things that I am doing that are working to that goal. And so I don't know. You told me I get off track when we do intentions this morning. So you feel like you're getting off track. But someone says, Coca Mocha says, hey guys, love your podcast, love your channel to help me in my marriage so immensely. I appreciate you guys. Air 5, we appreciate that you're here and we're glad that our show is helpful.
Thank you for that energy. That's good.
Yes, that's great energy.
Okay, we appreciate you too for showing up.
We do.
Okay, my intention is just to, I already said my intention. My thankfulness gratitude is yesterday you drove the kids around and did all this stuff because we are not enrolling our kids back in public school because of COVID-19 and online learning is just bonkers and almost ridiculous. We have decided to do homeschool. And yesterday you officially unenrolled the kids in school. And it hit home for me yesterday. I was like, oh gosh, we're doing this, right? We're really doing it, guys.
Right.
You're doing it and you are leading that charge. And I really, really appreciate that. You do an excellent job on that. And the kids are going to be probably way better off because you're going to be homeschooling them. So thank you for that. I'm truly thankful.
You're welcome. I am thankful, and we're doing our gratitudes right now. Do them with your partner. Tell them something you're thankful for. I'm thankful for, oh my gosh, I just had it and I lost it. Oh, I'm thankful for how you are with your clients. So every once in a while, I hear you like sending a Voxer.
Coaching clients? Or
yes, you're coaching, well, both.
Well, not therapy. You don't hear
No, I don't hear your therapy, but you're coaching clients. Like I'll hear a snippet of a Voxer or like you're walking and I'll hear just like a tiny bit of something you say. And there's something when I see you in your element in that way, helping others and being selfless, but also like taking charge, bringing help to someone else's home. That to me is really amazing and really, I don't know what the word is. It's like, it's almost, here's a funny analogy, but it'll make sense. It's almost like you're a good king in a movie. Like you're Thor. Nope. Not Thor.
Oh.
I was trying to say Thorin. Who's the guy with the big nose? He's a troll. He's a dwarf.
Thorin Oakenshield.
No, a dwarf.
That's a dwarf.
It's not. Oh yeah, it is Thorin Oakenshield. The one who gets dragon sickness.
Thorin Oakenshield.
You're him when he doesn't have dragon sickness.
Ooh.
Like you're good, you're helpful, you're not the king of the lake, you're not master over the lake.
Right.
Like you're helpful and you're leading others to have better lives. Like you're helping their marriages. And I am so thankful when I hear tiny snippets of that, or you'll share like, yeah, I was so excited I helped, whatever. And it's just really, really exciting. And I'm deeply grateful for that. And our kids see that modeled in our world. So thank you for that.
Well, you're welcome. It is good work. Like
it's good to be the king.
Zig Ziglar says, help enough people get what they want.
Right.
And it's not just like, oh, I want money, I want girls, I want food, I want all this stuff. No, I'm not in that business. You're not in that business. We're in the business of helping people realize their potential, see the potential in them, and help them to lessen that cognitive dissonance. I'm listening to The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy right now, and they talk about, psychologists talk about one of the most kind of grading things, one of the most stressful things.
Bill says Gandalf.
Gandalf, yeah.
Not Gandalf.
One of the most stressful things, like psychologically, and this is research based, is knowing something inside you, but not actually doing it,
Right.
living out, being incongruent, right? I've
Right.
talked about, preferred self versus real self kind of thing. And that incongruency, cognitive dissonance is something that just makes us feel like crap,
Right. And think, let's use different words. Those are weird words. Like the tension of wanting to feel
Okay,
one,
yeah.
of knowing you could be one thing, but feeling like you just aren't there or don't know how to get there.
Right. And just, that's one of the number one complaints of people on their deathbed too.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I had done this.
Right.
I
Right.
wish I'd have spent time with my wife, with my kids,
Right.
rather than at the office. It's that cognitive dissonance, that tension, that if you're thinking of music, that atonal noise that's like, that doesn't work. Right? Is
It's
it
like
atonal?
Well,
it atonal?
yeah. I mean, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Kind of thing. And when we help people get what they want, we get what we want, right? I'm happy doing coaching. It's fulfilling. It's great. So speaking of coaching, we do coaching, guys. Coaching is different from counseling. I've been a therapist for 13 plus years, and coaching sometimes can be more effective when you got the other counseling stuff out of the way, the traumas, the hurts, all that stuff, the things that really hang you up. Then coaching is like, put this baby, it's so said something else. Put this thing in fifth gear, press the gas, we're going, right? And we need coaches. We did coaching. It was awesome. So if you have any coaches, coaching questions, email us at coaching@anatomyofmarriage.com. And I'll be happy to jump on a call and really persuade you why coaching will kick your butt and get you to where you want to go.
Right. If you do coaching with us, we'll be all up in your business all the time, and it's really fun.
Every day.
It's
I talk to my
fun.
clients every freaking day.
Text every morning.
That is right, which
It's
is awesome.
great.
All right,
Okay.
on to the question. Today is a good question, and it's something that a lot of couples go through, talk about, and just think is like, oh, it's whatever. But
Right.
it might be more there. So.
And if you have a question, send it in to hello@anatomyofmarriage.com or DM us. So it says, my husband is, and again, I change everything, so I take details out. Hopefully this is helpful.
Yes.
My husband has struggled for several years with talking to other women online. Sometimes it's been texting, but it's mainly through social media messages. Over a year ago, he had an emotional relationship with a coworker, and when I found out about it, we talked about it, and he apologized and said he wouldn't speak with her anymore outside of work. Not the perfect scenario since they still have to work together, but I thought it would be all right. About 6 months later, I found messages and images, yet another woman on his phone. I was so hurt and angry because I thought that he had moved past this. We talked about why he would need to have these relationships with other women, and I suggested that it was time to see a counselor or go to some sort of couples or group therapy, but there were so many excuses that I gave up trying to push for it. I finally asked that he delete the app that he was talking to her on and as some sort of last effort to try to get this to stop. He agreed and deleted it, and he did a lot of work in our marriage. I really thought that we were in a good place and had moved past this or want for another woman when I saw that he had downloaded the app on his phone again. I was honestly shocked and didn't even say anything to him, probably because I wanted to just walk away and fork everything at that point, which is hilarious that you said that, and I kept it in because it's so funny. But now I feel like I need to say something. Any help or advice on how to get this conversation going would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much.
Right. Okay. So this is a big one. Again, I'm a therapist, so I want to ask a lot more details, but just for face value, I'm like, husband, dude, bro, what are you doing? What are you doing? What is the need? What is the excuse? Why do you feel that you have to make excuses? Is it fear of rejection from this other person? Is it fear of, I don't know. There's a lot of fears, I believe. Or what are you trying to fill, right?
Right.
What are you trying to fill either in your heart or your soul or your spirit or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
What are you trying to fill with this relationship? With this relationship that you shouldn't be having, right? Oh, it's just a texting thing. But, geez. Esther Perel of Where Do We Go? No.
Where Do We Begin?
Where Do We Begin? A sex therapist who has an amazing podcast, talks about how physical affairs, the physical piece, is only like the tip of the iceberg. It begins with emotional stuff because the emotional stuff is what you're not getting in your relationship. Does that make sense? So then people go to other places, or sometimes there's some addiction stuff and some really
it's not
maladaptive reactions.
It's not what you're not getting. It's what you don't know how to get out of your current relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes in those settings, like she has a whole show, like a whole podcast on Audible or Audible. And a lot of it is like when couples get stuck in ruts and the husband or the wife will be like, well, I can't figure out how to get out of this rut with my spouse. So instead of do that hard work, which is uncomfortable, and I don't like being uncomfortable, I'm just going to go get these like dopamine hits from that lady over there. She doesn't ever tell me to clean the bathroom.
Right.
She never tells me to like wipe my pee off the toilet. And so I like talking to her.
Right.
Right. I mean, it's as stupidly simple as that. Like,
well, it's a coping mechanism. It is, and the coping mechanism or whatever, it changes our focus from this to that. It's like, okay, what's flashing more? What gets my
the squeaky wheel gets the grease.
That's right. What gets my attention off of this thing that's like kind of gritty or whatever? Oh, this works.
Right.
Right. And that can be alcohol. That can be social media. That can be
vaping.
Vaping.
I don't know. That would be funny to say.
That's
it was.
So
says, hello, I'm from South Korea. Good to meet you. I watched this for the first time. Thanks. My kids would freak out if they knew that you were watching because they love South Korea.
We talked about it yesterday. We like to travel, and I asked the kids, I said, where would you like to be right now? We were all in the kitchen eating snacks and stuff, and I was like, you guys, imagine yourself in an Airbnb,
in any country.
We had a long day of, doing travel stuff, visiting stuff, and now we're just chilling. What city would you want to be in? And the majority answers were South Korea.
The city of South Korea?
Right. I know South Korea is not a city, but, Seoul,
Right.
Or
hello, and we're glad you're here.
Yeah, we are glad you came.
I'm part of the Army BTS. We love you.
Yes, BTS, of course.
He is my favorite. Anyhow.
BTS all day. That's right.
Yeah, right.
So, okay, back to this question. From a wife's perspective, how would you address this?
Well, there's a couple things. I think listening to Esther Perel's Where Do We Begin is actually a great place to get a perspective that's different on this. She does couples counseling, and it's like the couples are actually in the room and she counsels them, but she is way out there in terms of she doesn't have her values system is way different. She's European. It's got a different thing going on, which is great, but just be aware. Don't get mad at me when she is suggesting the things that she suggests, because they're not like what I would say.
Right.
But I think one of the things that the wife has to, I don't know, this is a hard place to be because she's not doing anything wrong. In my opinion, the wife isn't doing anything wrong. There is an element of your husband what I would say to the wife is get to the root of what is he seeking. Not just someone else's boobs, not just something else, but what is it that he is actually trying to fulfill in someone else, and examine whether or not you're like, what is the word? Paying attention to that in your own marriage. Here's a good example. And I'm not saying that this is the wife's fault that he's doing this. So please do not email me and be like, I can't believe you said that. But in our marriage for years, I was not at all like a welcoming place. I was not positive. I wasn't happy. I wasn't giving you any of those like happy, positive vibes only vibes, right? I was just like a lump on a log, and I was mad at you all the time. So it would have made a ton of sense for Seth to go get that dopamine somewhere else. Like it would have made ton of sense from a biological standpoint. I am not talking about marital vows. I'm not talking about what we promised we would do, but what actually happens is you get a deficit of like the feel good vibes, and someone else gives them to you, right? So again, I would say the wife might ask herself, what is it that he's looking for? Again, not someone else's boobs. If that's all he's looking for, then there's a problem. But it might just be that you're not a soft place to land or whatever. So start there, because you asked me what to do for the wife.
Right.
I would not start there.
Right. I want to interject a quote, and I think it's from the Puritans, but it goes like,
"Oh, Puritans."
I don't know, Quakers or something. But and I've said this before, and I'll say it in the husband and wife context. May the husband be sad to leave the home, and may he be joyous to come back, or something. Obviously, that's not verbatim. I'm not a Puritan. But the idea is, hey, things are good, things are kind, things are a soft place to land and a soft place to be at the home. I have to go.
Darn.
I have to go not have this right now because there's other responsibilities, work or whatever. And then I'm happy to come back.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And oftentimes in marital relationships, we do get in these ruts of like, what time is it? Oh my God, I gotta go. I get to go to work.
Right.
I don't have to be, with crazy all the time.
Right. And we are not saying that.
No, I'm not saying that at all. And so I'm not. How about this? I'm absolutely, so dude to dude, man to man, come on, don't be a wuss. Like giving excuses, that's pathetic, that's stupid, and I hate that. You are more than that. And anytime you try to justify, well, this, I can't do that. When are we going to start cussing? Because that's like a thing that is going to happen really soon.
Comment in the comments if we can cuss or can we not cuss?
No,
that's like one of our biggest debates.
We don't have to cuss. I'm just kidding. But like when husbands say, I'm not going to therapy, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing this. Your wife is sitting there asking you to do something that will help both of you.
And your
idiot.
Children, if you have children.
Right?
You idiot.
and your children. So I'm kind of getting on a tirade here, but the worst thing ever is when a wife or a husband makes all the excuses so they can continue to hold on to their own stupid bullcrap. That is ridiculous. And I see it all the freaking time in counseling. That's why I like coaching, because I can cuss as much as I want and really get that fire under there, right? When another dude that you respect and you've given him permission to speak this into your life and you let them do it, then boom, that is so powerful. The same with women's coaching and stuff like that. So dude, get on it. Stop being a baby. Mm-hmm. Come on.
I want to read what Bill said.
Okay.
It says, it sounds like he is insecure and needs to get affirmation from other women to help him know he is still attractive or desired. I have heard of a lot of men chatting up women online to get the attention, but they never meet in real life. The issue with this type of activity is that it is not it was not negotiated with spouse.
Honestly, it is so honesty is so important in a relationship, and his continued use of the app is like a slap in the face of his wife.
Right.
They need to have boundaries set. Mm-hmm. That's absolutely right. That's a really good insight, because nobody gets, starts a relationship of like, hey, if things get weird here, if I'm not like having that affirmation, is it okay if I go on an app to explore other stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Well, sure, that's fine. No.
I know. Yeah. And
obviously
that's one of the things that I can't remember. We talked about this years ago on our show where I said, have you ever seen those memes where people are like, explain your job in really like awkward words?
Oh, right.
And it'll be like, I help people, like something weird, like flush the crap out of their pipes. Like, and it's literally like they're a plumber. Or
right.
So think of that. Take what you're doing, like looking at people on an app, and use it and say it in the dumbest words possible. Like, when I feel lonely, I look at other people's boobs online. Is that what you want to do? Mm-hmm. Like, make it as dumb sounding to yourself as possible to help you understand what you're doing. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, that absolutely makes sense. It's using humor, and it's making a parody of what you're doing to understand it in a real way. Like, so a kid got up.
Totally just woke up.
Dang it. Stop the show. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so, well, I could think of a million if I had time. I don't want to ramble. But maybe a good example is, okay, so like I like cutting trees down and doing outside work. So it's when I'm feeling kind of bored and restless at home and I could be connecting with other kids, I like to go down and use a fossil-fueled machine to break cellulose apart and watch them fall.
Oh my gosh. That took like 7 hours in my mind.
Right?
Yes, like when you get frustrated and don't know how to channel your energy, you cut trees down.
Right. What are you, I don't know, an anti-environmentalist or something? Right. You go cut trees down? They're all dead, by the way, so it's fine and we're using firewood.
Right. But anyway, I think another thing, too, is for this husband. This is on the husband, okay? I want to say that again. The wife is not doing this that I'm aware of. Mm-hmm. This is on the husband. And what I want to put out there, and this is one of the best things ever, is in the Bible it says, treat others as you would like to be treated. Maybe it says that in the Bible now. I don't know.
Golden rule, I think.
Golden rule? I don't know. Maybe it's like ancient Greece. But treat others the way that you would like to be treated. And but also, one thing that is so impactful is imagine your father doing something like that, or your mother. Mm-hmm. Would you like your parent to do that to your other parent? Like, would you like how that felt? Like, oh yeah, well, my mom's always on a dating app, whatever. Like you see someone else that you respect, see someone else that you love who has a good marriage, and imagine them doing that, and you'd be like, oh, that's actually a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
That won't work. That isn't loving. It isn't helpful. It isn't good. It's dumb. It's weak. It's weak sauce. It's lame. It's not helpful. It's not going to get you where you want to be. Mm-hmm. So don't do it. It is a mechanism toward breaking things apart. It's like putting a tiny fracture in the foundation of anything every single time you do it.
So I'm thinking of a couple of books. One is, I believe, The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg, and another one by Benjamin Hardy, who we had on the show. It's not released yet. When Willpower Isn't Enough, So you're not just saying like, oh, I want to, talk or get this app. Okay, just don't do it. Don't do it.
Right.
That is not enough.
You can't erase, you have to replace.
Exactly. So, I drink too much. Just quit.
Right.
Well, thanks. Like I haven't thought of that, right? And that's almost like saying folks with depression, like, just feel better, be happy,
right.
Think positive thoughts. You're like, get out of my face, right? So we're not saying like, hey, just don't do it, cold turkey, just stop. Yeah, sometimes you have to do that where it's like an emergency or it's been going on for years. It's like, obviously you can't do this. So what you're going to have to do is reach down, really take a deep dive in the thing behind the thing, behind the thing, behind the thing, right? And get down to the root of that. Why are you, what impulse drives your want to be like, oh yeah, this app. Okay, this.
Right.
It's a coping mechanism. It's resistance, right? It is something static that's getting you, your mind, your spirit, your soul, your brain, everything, your body off of what you should be doing. Okay, then you actually have to commit to the hard work of I identify this, I acknowledge it, it's there. Dude needs a hobby, right? Or dude needs a coach.
Oh.
Right? Dude needs a coach. Dudette needs a coach
Fancy pants.
That's right.
I love that name.
So you have to be able to do the work. I can say for 100% sure we have done the work of like, what's the thing behind the thing behind the thing? And then the whole thing is in, okay, let's look at that. And then blow it up at 50,000 feet and then get in every like nanomicron piece of it. And that's what it takes.
Right.
The only way out is through, and that is what it takes.
And I want to use there's an analogy for the wife's perspective, and this is something I want to empower any spouse who is being treated this way by their partner, where it's like this kind of covert, like I'm doing this thing, but I know I shouldn't, and I know we talked about it, but let's get the app again anyway. So here's a really weird analogy. We went to the dog park, or we were across the street at the park with our dog. He's a young dog. He's a dingbat.
Yesterday?
Oh. And there was an older, no, I'm not saying anything weird, but there was an older dog there that was a lady, and Doug, our dog, kept, because he's a puppy, so he like would pounce on her and like do that thing on her to get her to chase him. All that dog wants is for someone to chase him, right? So he does this super annoying thing where he pushes on other dogs, but other dogs who have been properly socialized and know like the dog boundaries will eventually attack him to make him stop, and then he learns. Okay, are you following where I'm going here? So in this scenario where the husband is going, well, I want this app, like he's just pushing at the wife, like, I'm going to get this app. I know you said you wanted it.
So you're saying wives attack your husbands?
I am. In this case, that dog needed to set the boundaries for Doug, and it never did. So guess what Doug did the entire freaking time we were around that dog? It pushed on her. It jumped on her. It barked. He was so annoying. It was so irritating to be around him. Only because the girl dog didn't set the boundary. Now, I've walked with tons of different dogs, and other dogs that are properly socialized will literally like go, okay, here is the freaking line. You are not crossing it anymore. Okay? If you cross it, I'm going to tear out your throat.
So let me interject something.
Don't interject. Tear out your throat.
Well, don't physically attack your
Obviously
people.
Not.
We have gone through that, and that's not fun. But we
allow what
we endure the behavior that we allow, right? So that dog, that little bee, I can say that. That's not technically that's word. That little bee was enduring what she allowed.
Right.
Maybe she didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, we don't know boundaries. What the heck are boundaries?
Right.
Because we don't learn them from family origin. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we have to do the work, the thing behind the thing.
Right.
Read books, listen to podcasts, do this work, and go, oh, this is what healthy boundaries looks like.
Mm-hmm.
You know, okay, read the book Boundaries by Dr. Henry Cloud.
Henry Cloud,
sorry. These are what boundaries look like.
Right.
Now I'm going to show this dog, you know, what to do or what not to do. So, right. So I want to go back. And again, this is not victim blaming or any kind of territory like that whatsoever.
No.
I want you to really listen very intently here. We endure what we allow. It's like having a kid. If I, you know, allow my kids to say, what, or instead of yes, Dad, or thank you, Mom, or yes, ma'am.
If we allow our kids to speak to us disrespectfully,
then that is what we're going to get.
Right.
So we will and must and maintain and be consistent in those boundaries, right? So when this wife was at the end of the message was saying like, yeah, and I, you know, saw it again, I'm just like, well, F this, I don't even care, right? So, okay, I want you to step it up and say, this is not allowed.
Right.
I will not stand for this. You are not, you know what? You can do whatever you want. I'm not going to participate. I'm not going to allow it, and I am not approve of it, no matter what. Kind of thing. And he's been like, oh, crap. And it'll go one of two ways. Right. Well, you don't know me, and this is it. So he's going to resist, which is obviously not good. Or he'll be like, this dog bit me. I'm not going to pounce on her. I know where she stands. I know where I can go. I know where I can't go, kind of thing. So it's just a very holistic, well-rounded, very complicated answer to be like, this is how it works. Right. This is how you change.
And I just had this thought of like, what if this was us in this situation? What if Seth was on some app looking at ladies? Y'all want to know what I would do? I would be like, okay, if you continue this behavior, I'm out. That's what I would do, because that behavior will never get our marriage where we wanted it to go in the first place, where we signed up for it to go. I will never allow that type of abuse. And I know that sounds crazy, but it is an abuse of a privilege in a relationship. I would never allow that, because I got kids. The last thing I want to do is teach my kids how to do that, because, well, dad is make excuses for why dad looks at other ladies online. No. Don't just hork it down.
Think about this. If we are in a business relationship, right? Oh, yeah, my partner, you know, they're in charge of the finances, but they're just like blowing money on crazy stuff. What is this? You know, I thought it was a partnership here, you know. You wouldn't allow that, right? And if you did allow that, then eventually there would be problems. The business would falter or whatever. Or you could be like, well, I'm just kind of supplementing, you know, the business with my own personal assets or something, and it sucks, but I don't want to, you know, not have the business, so kind of thing. So I want to get to some questions.
There's lots of comments.
Somebody says, so great to see your faces and hear your voices at the same time. I don't join lives very often, but I'm glad I did this morning. Well, thank you very much for being here.
We're so glad you're here.
We endure the behavior we allow. That's exactly right.
Right.
Okay. Bill says, since she has already had the initial conversation with her husband about the app use, what should she do now that he has re-downloaded it?
First of all, clearing structure.
Talking didn't work the first time. Will it work by speaking again? I would say, okay, yeah, they've gone through this before, but this time it's going to be quicker, harder, and more consistent. Hey, I mean, if I was this lady, talk to him, you know, right? Talk to him a minute ago, right? Hey, I know that you did this, that we're not allowing this. I'm not allowing this, you know? And for these things to change, you know, you can say whatever you want, for these things to change, this is how it's going to be. This is not allowed. So yes, I would talk about it again, and I would create really strict and hard boundaries around that.
Let me say too, use the clearing structure, because oftentimes we have conversations and we talk about something that's important, but when we don't have a guideline for how to talk about something that's important, we often don't actually talk about the thing that's important. We argue about the stuff around it. We argue about how we said our words, not what the words actually meant or what the goal actually is. So use the clearing structure. You can get the clearing structure in the Anatomy of Marriage app completely free, people. It is free. It doesn't cost you anything. Go to anatomyofmarriage.com, get it in the app store, whatever, and use the clearing structure. It is an interactive tool to help you have these conversations without getting lost in the weeds, because that's what everybody does. So I hear what you're saying. You said talking didn't work last time. Why would it work this time? Typically, we're not talking with a guideline, a frame of reference, a goal, and that's what the clearing structure will do.
Right. So we have a lot of comments. I want to be really succinct on this. First, we'll go to YouTube Live. Talking to other women could be a way to feel rejuvenated relationally because of the new connections and only scratching the surface without getting too deep, as he would with his wife, like he should.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's be honest. Like talking to work friends, colleagues, people that you are collaborating with other projects on, there's a lot of energy around that, right? When I'm starting a new program with, and I work with mostly women, there's like an energy sometimes that goes on. It's like, hey, this is cool. This is dopamine, right?
Right.
But it's not like dopamine, hey, you know, then text after work and like, hey, let's go hang out or like do whatever. You do the same thing. You work in the audio engineering world. There are a majority guys.
I only work with guys when I work on any project.
And you told me before, you get jazzed up. You what is it? You get
oh, geez Louise. Your phone is
you get emotionally stimulated, I guess. I don't know.
What are you doing? Don't do that. Don't do that. Oh my gosh. You are like.
No, I'm nothing. It's a thing. So hold on. I hate it when you say you were like. I'm like, but you don't know what to do either. That's so annoying. Anyway, what is it? I can't remember
stimulated.
Stimulated, right? But you're not.
Okay, here's the thing to understand. Just as human beings, stimulation is the thing that happens. It's what happens when you watch a basketball game. Your brain cells are going. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be music. It could be art. It could be basketball. It could be football. It could be literally anything. It could be another human that you enjoy. Here's a great example. Matt Carter is one of the people I work with all the time. He's great. He stimulates my brain cells to go, ooh, talking about emotional whatever. I could very easily think I was in love with Matt because he stimulates my brain cells. Don't fall for that trick, okay? That's what everybody's doing. The lady at this guy's work, the husband's work, stimulated his brain cells. That's fine. That's how people are wired. It's when we get it twisted and we go, I must be in love. I should probably text them a lot and think about them a lot. No, you're stimulating your brain cells. Just go with that and move on. Yeah. That's where we get it all confused. We think stimulation means love. We think it means something that it doesn't actually.
And it's really weird because we can think of that in the context of having a job and then going, oh man, this other job, or living, or especially traveling. Traveling is the best thing you could do ever, but it's also really kind of messes with your brain because I'm like,
it makes your home seem like the worst.
Okay, moving to Europe. All right, moving to Iceland. Everything is better here. Right. They do everything better.
As if you wouldn't get used to it.
Americans are so stupid. This is the worst, right? But come on, people. It's like that same. It's the the grass is always greener kind of thing. Well, okay, sometimes maybe this does make sense. It made sense for me to move from to here, and it wasn't a grass is always greener kind of thing. It was, I think overall this will be great. And some people in marriage, after years of, I don't know. Discord sometimes come to that conclusion and like, oh, it actually is better that we're not together or whatever. But if that starts out with because you're talking to a coworker and you're like, ooh, and then 1 week you're like, well, jazz kind of thing is like, come on, slow, use your wise mind and really think through it. So also Michael says, watching from Washington DC. Grateful for all the consistent work you all do to help marriages thrive.
Thank you. Thanks. DC is hot. Ooh,
what do you mean hot?
Hot, like it's hot there.
Oh, okay. Adam says, are you hardlining that you'd be out just because you've been through this ish once and expectations are so clear with you two? You've spoken the problems of threatening to leave on past episodes.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
Okay. Did I have to tell you that?
No, you didn't have to tell me. But also, I think maybe what this person is saying is like, okay, say that it's not like, oh, you found an app on my phone. You're like, all right, that's it, done.
Oh yeah, no. There'd be lots of conversation around it. But I will say apps don't accidentally appear and download themselves onto people's phones.
Right.
So we have to be grown-ups. We have to not act like it was an accident that we downloaded that app. And that's where it goes, in my mind, that's where I take it, because we actually just talked about this. We want to be professionals in marriage. We want to turn pro in our marriage. Guess who is not a professional? Guess who's an amateur? the ding dong who goes and gets a dating app on his phone when he's got 2 kids and a wife. He is an amateur, right?
Right.
Don't be a ding dong.
Don't be a ding dong.
If that makes sense.
You're thinking with your ding dong.
That was fun.
Very funny. Okay. You cannot change someone else either. As much as you want to do it for the right reasons, you have to wait till they are completely ready to do it. That is the hardest part of being with someone that is doing things that you don't agree with.
Right.
Right. So there is a lot of grace involved, and then also coming to the realization of, okay, this is salvageable. I love this person. I do accept this I accept this person as a person.
Right.
I'm not accepting these other things that are most likely coping mechanisms that they are coming up with to deal with hurt and emptiness kind of thing, you know? So if you really look at it like that, of like, oh, you know, this person actually isn't a jerk or a super douche. They are trying to do the best they can with what they're feeling inside. I know, that's funny, isn't it?
So in the bottom of that comment, it said the hardest part of being with someone that is doing things you don't agree with. So I want to clarify that, because it's not that I don't agree with it. It's that we don't agree with it. It's that and maybe that is the bigger conversation here, is that in this question, obviously they haven't sat down and talked about these things from a strategy standpoint, like here's what mission success looks like in our marriage. These are all Jocko Willink terms from Extreme Ownership. What other books does he do? Discipline equals freedom. These are military, Navy SEAL vibe terms, right? What does mission success look like in our marriage? Oh, that means no dating apps, doy. That's like telling the enemy where you live. Right.
So, but I'm trying to think like most other people, I guess. Maybe that sounds like a jerk. I don't know.
How do other people
let's just say you and I establish what mission success looks like, right? 2 years out, mission success looks like this. And within those 2 years, something came up and I got a dating app, right? So that clearly is not something that is going to get us to mission success.
Right.
But it's put out on the table. We talk about it. It is a pivot. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, I'm thinking of like the Iraqi war that Jocko talks about.
Right.
Stuff. So, okay, mission success is we're going to take the city over, take this block over of insurgent controlled stuff, take it over, and it's going to take a year, right? So this is the plan, right?
Right.
And we're all on the same page. Something comes up. One of the commanders or whatever does something that doesn't lead to that.
One of the commanders accidentally downloads the Find My Opponent app on their phone.
Find My Location.
Find My Location. Located the enemy app on their phone.
Right, but not in a like, hey, I am sabotaging this. I'm a traitor to the mission. It's not that. It's like, big time, right? That's not like Jocko wouldn't be like, you're out, treason, you're out, everything, unless it was super egregious and like people died, of course. But is there, and this is for couples listening, is there like, okay, and we need to rework this, get back on track kind of thing?
You have to have a mission statement, like a mission statement, as in what is our, like, we're going out to take over, we're doing this thing. It's a mission. It's not like what are we about? It's our mission statement, right? So what does mission success look like? And that's like, you have to have tactics and strategies. When you feel the desire to look at someone else online, have a tactic, a strategy to stop doing that, because it does not get you to mission success. You give the enemy your location when you do that. And I'm not kidding when I say that. When you say, oh, I'll just download this app, no big deal, you are giving the enemy your location.
He says, I like this a lot. Want to be grown up, own up.
Want to be a grown up, own up. I want to say that.
Lee says, good morning, AOM. Thank you for talking about the real stuff. Y'all have helped us a lot. Today is our 4th anniversary, and the past year has been better for having you guys speaking into our lives.
Air 5.
Yes.
Air 5.
Brianna says, at Lee Camp, he's mine. I thought so, with the same last name and everything, but that's awesome.
That is so awesome.
Congratulations on your 4th anniversary. You know what? I wish on our 4th anniversary, we were listening to a marriage podcast together. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me?
We'd be like billionaires by now.
That goes back to the whole reason, our why.
Right.
One of the whys that we created this podcast is because we wanted resources that we
like this.
Yeah, we wanted resources like this. Honestly,
That would be amazing.
It
Y'all are
it would be amazing. So talking about resources, I want you guys to do two things. If you're listening to this and going, oh my gosh, I'm not ready for coaching, I need counseling, then we have partnered with Faithful Counseling, and you can go to getfaithful.com/anatomy of marriage to sign up with an actual licensed therapist. Now, there were some reviews saying, oh yeah, I got paired up with a female counselor, I wanted a male counselor, and some of the customer service. So that's resistance. You are doing the absolute right thing when you go to getfaithful.com/anatomy of marriage. And just because there's a bump in the road does not mean
you're on the wrong track.
Wrong thing.
Right. It's
quit.
just a speed bump. And the great thing about Faithful Counseling is you can switch your counselors and it's no big deal. Right. So if you don't jive with your counselor, here's an insider tip. They don't want you to be their client if they don't jive with you either. Just switch. Don't make it harder than it needs to be. Get a different counselor in the system. No big deal.
That's right. So remember, getfaithful.com/anatomy of marriage to get paired up with online telehealth, HIPAA compliance, everything is confidential counseling. If you need it, there's no shame. This is coming from a licensed marriage and family therapist of over 13 years. Go there, get anatomyofmarriage.com.
If you're revving high in fourth gear and you ain't figuring out how to go to the next one, you go,
if you're ready to be a grown-up, own up,
Right.
email us at coaching@anatomyofmarriage.com. We do weekly video Zoom calls.
if that's what you want. We do what works for you.
We do what works for you. That's right. But the point is, we're talking for an hour or more every single week, talking about your goals, your desires, what's in the way, what you want to get out of the way, what you want from your life, your marriage, your business, everything, right? We are in contact daily. I talk to my clients every morning. Yo, brother, what's up? Give me a status update. We talked about 1, 2, 3. How are those things going? You're good, you're not good, you're halfway good. We're going to get you to good all the time, right? It's 30, 60, or 90 days. We can talk about it. Email coaching@anatomyofmarriage.com. And it's not only me, it's Melanie too. So we do couples coaching as well. So let's wrap this thing up. You got a question for us?
Oh, I didn't think you were wanting to do that. Sometimes
we'll just do one.
You don't want to do that.
For the people, Mel.
I will say that when you do coaching, we have actual weekly action plans that are like tactics, strategies, resources. I mean, it's thorough because
it's no messing around.
It ain't no joke, y'all.
It's real stuff.
It ain't no joke.
All right.
Let's see if I can find any of the ones that we haven't. What is the most excited that you've ever felt? This is from the Anatomy of Marriage app, you guys. We have conversation starters. That's what we're answering right now.
That's right. Okay, so here's a hilarious story. And this happened back in the way early days when I was in undergrad school. And Pepsi, right, the soft drink Pepsi, had this promotion going on.
Oh.
And it was, you flip the tops and you have to pick these things, right? And they had like huge prizes and stuff. And so it was one summer that I was like, okay, I'm going for this, people. So I drank a lot of Pepsi until I got sick and all this stuff. And I thought that I won a $25,000 shopping spree to the Mall of America in Minneapolis, Minnesota, right? And I remember it. We played a show. We were coming back. It was like 2 p.m. I got the Pepsi, opened the thing, and I had to get 3 words, right? And of course, there's two of the words were all over the place. So you had to get that one last word, right? And it was 4 words. It was shop till you drop, right? And the word that I needed was drop, right? And I opened that thing, I looked at it, and I thought that it said drop, and I went, and just tripped balls right there at the gas station. And Matt and Devin and all the Emory dudes were there, and they were like, what? And we were just like, yeah, like that. But come to find out, there's a little bit of Pepsi on it, and it said done instead of drop. And I was like,
that is not surprising.
But for those 2 seconds, it was the world. And that was like a really funny, goofy one. But there's been too many times where I've been excited, like in my relationship with you and what we're doing with the show, with kids and stuff like that, that are obviously much more deep and more meaningful than a shop till you drop Pepsi promotion. So
that's so funny. That is like the most classically you ever. Like, I didn't take time to figure out if it was right, but I screamed and I celebrated because I won.
But it was so magical. Don't take that joy away from me.
There's
already stolen.
I'll tell you another time. I can't think of one for myself, but I'll tell you another one about yourself. He applied to win tickets to Japan Airlines for the 2020 Olympic Games.
Just in last month, actually.
And he won. Except he didn't read the fine print.
So I
had to get to Japan.
Right.
He thought he won tickets to Japan.
So
And he didn't.
I actually applied and won 4 round trip tickets on Japan Airlines, right? Within Japan. So, going to Tokyo, going to Hiroshima, all these places within Japan. I won the airline tickets. I won them, right? But I did not win the fine print, and we had to get from Seattle to Tokyo first. So yeah,
it was funny, and you were really excited.
I was like, what? It was a lot of fun. So anyway, share. Go do the conversation starters when you're on a date night. When you wake up in the morning, text your partner. Set up an alarm at 12 p.m. every single day. Text her or him a conversation starter from the Anatomy of Marriage app. And you can
set a reminder in the app, you guys. The app is absolutely amazing. So go check it out.
Right.
Yeah.
Must be a 9 thing excited before the facts.
That's hilarious.
It absolutely is.
That is hilarious.
You guys, we love you. Thank you. Join us. Are we dropping a new interview episode tomorrow?
I don't know.
I thought we were. Okay. Well, if we are, we are. So anyway, join us tomorrow for AOM Radio. AOM Radio, and we will see you. So
all right, love you guys.
All right, peace out. Bye.
Sounds like it's from a movie. AOM Radio.
Yeah.
AOM Radio.